Hi, I'm Tori and I'll take you through the practice today. Today's practice is going to be a slightly stronger practice. It's going to be a Vinyasa flow practice. So we've done that quite before, kind of going through the practice of having the sun salutes and warming up the body. I'm going to also bring in a little bit of a mandala at some point, so it'll be where we kind of move towards the back of the mat and then we'll kind of come back towards the front of the mat. The mandalas are like what you see in India, the kind of patterns that are all geometric and the same pattern all the way round. So it's kind of using that theory but using it onto the mat, and so just using the same kind of poses or asanas as we kind of move around. So just coming to wherever's comfortable for you and your body. As I always say, yoga for me is about moving the body and the breath. It's giving us time to observe ourselves in the present moment, and it's enabling us to learn more about ourselves. So come to wherever's comfortable for you. Don't strain yourself. If you feel that you've got any issues around any muscles or any joints, then please do pull yourself out of the pose. Don't go any deeper than you feel that you should. And when you start to do yoga, the deeper yoga or the advanced yoga is learning that space inside you. So it's learning that some days you might be able to go deeper and other days you don't, your body won't allow you to, and honouring that space. Don't get judgmental, don't get heft up. It's just a matter of honouring that space and learning what and how you can go about your yoga practice on any given day. So as always, we'll start with coming into a comfortable seated position, so whether that is cross-legged or kneeling, and just closing down the eyes, taking the gaze down towards the ground in front, and just starting to give ourselves a couple of moments to arrive onto the mat. So that's giving ourselves maybe a little bit of a shuffle, a little bit of kind of like just release ourselves, and then hands towards the knees or the thighs. As we start to settle through the sitting bones and starting to feel the physical body. Just giving ourselves a little bit of space from our to-do lists, from our inbox, whatever it is that we've been doing or going about during our day. Just enabling ourselves a little bit of space, a little bit of time to move away from there. As we start to concentrate on the breath and feel the mechanics of the body, the chest rise and fall, the belly move towards the inside and the outside of the body. We start to become a little bit more present, a little bit more observant of the physical self. So just coming into your own breath and into your own rhythm. We're just going to start to deepen the inhales and deepen the exhales. And if you can, just holding at the top of the inhale just for a moment and the bottom of the exhale just for a moment. What this does is it simply steadies the breath, steadies the nervous system, and calms down the mind and the body. So we're just going to do it to the count of 3. So we're going to inhale for 1, 2, 3. Hold for 1, 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3. hold, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2. Last round, inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2. And then simply just come into your own breath and into your own rhythm. Just starting to feel yourself. Just notice if the body and the mind have just quietened a little bit more. That's the power of the breath. So slowly we're just going to open up the eyes, just flickering the eyes open. And then gently we're just going to take the gaze over towards the right hand side. On the exhale, taking the gaze over towards the left. Inhaling as we come over towards the right. Exhaling as we come over towards the left. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Perfect. We're going to take the gaze up towards the sky. We're going to open the throat over to the right. Slowly on the exhale, we take the gaze up towards the sky. We come over towards the left. 2 more. So we inhale, gaze up, over to the right. Exhaling, coming up and over, we come over to the left. Taking the gaze down towards the ground, we open into the back of the neck, over to the right. Slowly taking the gaze down towards the ground, we come over towards the left. 2 more. So inhaling, coming over towards the right. Exhaling, taking the gaze down towards the ground, we come over towards the left. Perfect. Coming back into center. Just giving our shoulders a bit of a roll. So just kind of working in towards the shoulders any way that you want to. Whether that's kind of working through circles, whether it's kind of rippling through the spine, whatever feels good for you. Maybe closing down the eyes and just feeling how they feel. Maybe one side's more dominant than the other, and that's totally fine. Just working the body with the breath. And then gently we're going to come into stillness and we're going to work in towards the opposite direction. So just melting through that circular motion. Maybe it's a little bit crunchy, a little bit knotty from sitting at our desks, and that's totally fine. Just finding a space to work in towards these spaces in the body enables us to be a bit more fluid in our movement. We're going to clasp the hands. Hands are going to come up towards the sky. We're going to reach through the front of the body. So we're really reaching up, maybe a little arc into the back of the body if you can. And then exhaling, hands come down towards the ground. We're going to come in towards our tabletop. So hands come underneath the shoulders, knees directly below the hips, and just coming in towards our cat-cows. So we take the front of the pelvis down towards the ground as we open into the heart. Exhaling, we tuck the tummy in towards the spine and we dome out through the back. Inhaling as we drop the belly, looking towards the front of the room. Exhaling, tucking the tummy in towards the chest and we slowly in towards that cat pose. Inhaling, slowly looking towards the front of the room. See if you can just move the elbows to face the front. As you exhale, see if you can take the elbows so they face each other. It's just moving those subtle movements in the body. Inhaling as we drop the belly, looking forward, elbows front. Exhaling, we take the tummy in towards the spine, we dome through the back. Amazing. So just coming to wherever's comfortable for you. We're holding for a breath, really tucking in, if you can, pushing through the toes, down towards the ground, and we're coming back in towards our tabletop. Giving ourselves a little bit of a sway from side to side to release through the body. Hands come out towards the top corners of the mat. We take our forehead down towards the ground. So we open in towards the heart. Taking a lovely big inhale. Lovely deep exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we take the chin down towards the ground. We look towards the front of the room if you want to. That's a little bit deeper, so only coming to wherever's comfortable for you in your body. Slowly, we're going to walk the hands back in towards us. And again, we're just going to tuck the toes under. We're going to push through the heels. We're going to find that downward facing dog. So just walking through the dog in any way that you feel that you need to. Maybe swaying the hips from left to right. Nodding the head yes or no. And just kind of starting to feel what it feels like to be upside down this morning. In our downward dog, we're looking for a straight line from the hands through the shoulders in towards the hips. So if you need to bend the knees and find that space, that's totally fine. It doesn't matter where you are in your body, in your practice. It's your body and it's your practice. Perfect. We're going to slowly come on towards our tiptoes. We're going to look towards the hands and we're going to slowly come back down towards the knees. And we're just going to find that open stretch in towards the toes. So if you want to, walking your hands back, placing the weight in towards the feet, really opening in towards the back of the feet. We're just going to clasp the hands, taking the hands down towards the ground. If you need to release the toes at any point, feel free to. Just opening into the chest, looking up towards the sky. Lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we're slowly going to release the hands. Hands come back down into that tabletop. We release the toes. We give them a little bit of a tap, just releasing through the feet. Again, we tuck the toes under. We lift the hips up and we find that downward dog. Amazing. So we inhale onto our tiptoes. We look towards the hands. And we slowly step towards the front of the mat. We're going to inhale up halfway. Exhaling to fold. Perfect. This time we're just going to hold either elbow in our ragdoll. We're just going to release ourselves, giving ourselves a little bit of a sway from side to side just to find that release through the body. Doesn't matter where you come to. And then slowly we're going to ground down through the feet, arms come wide, and we're reaching all the way up towards the sky. Gazing high, exhaling, hands down through the center line. Perfect. We're going to release the hands. We find that Tadasana at the front of the mat. Palms face forward and we're really ground down through the feet. Again, options to have the toes touching or heels apart. Whatever's available for you. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're going to inhale, arms come wide, reaching up towards the sky. Exhaling, arms come wide and we're in towards that forward fold. Perfect. We're going to inhale up halfway, so we're lengthening through the spine. Exhaling, hands come down towards the ground and we step back into that high plank. We're pushing through the heels at the back of the mat. We lower the knees, we lower the chest, elbows in tight, and we keep the body straight as we lower all the way down to the ground. We release the toes, we roll the shoulders into our cobra. Exhaling, we tuck the toes, we lift the hips up and we're into that downward facing dog. Just checking that our feet are hip width apart, so we've got that openness in towards the body. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. We're going to inhale onto our tiptoes. We're going to bend in towards the knees. We look towards the hands. We step or jump towards the front of the mat. We inhale up halfway, exhaling to fold. Ground down to the feet, arms reach out to the sides of the room, hands come high. Exhaling, hands down through the center line, and we're going to find that Tadasana. Perfect. We're going to come in towards our Mandala now, so we're going to take a lovely big inhale and exhale. We're going to inhale, arms come wide, reaching high. Exhaling, hands down through the center line and we're in towards that forward fold. We're going to inhale up halfway. Exhaling, hands come down, we step back into our high plank. We're working through knees and chest all the way down to the ground. And then slowly we release the shoulders and we're in towards that cobra. Exhaling, tucking toes, lifting hips into downward facing dog. Hips come high towards the sky. We find the length in towards the back of the legs. Amazing, taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're going to inhale the right leg up towards the sky, pointing the toe. On the exhale, we step between the hands. We're going to find our low lunge. So left knee comes down towards the ground. We inhale the hands up. As we exhale, we push the hips forward if you want to, so we find the openness in towards the hip flexor along the left-hand side. So we're gazing high towards the sky. We're breathing in, filling the lungs. Lovely deep exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale. And exhale. Slowly, we're going to come in towards our side squat towards the front of the mat. So we're going to take our right toes to point towards the top corner of the mat. We bend in towards that leg. Doesn't matter if the ankle's lifted or not. And we point the toes towards the sky. Again, if it's more available to you, toes come down, but we're looking for a stretch on the inside of that thigh. Option to have the hands down towards the ground or into prayer and just pushing that knee open a little bit further. We're taking one more lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're going to ground down through that right foot and we're going to lift ourselves in towards our goddess pose. So toes come out towards the sides of the mat, taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. Taking another lovely big inhale. And exhale. Doesn't matter how far you come, how deep. We're going to slowly lift ourselves up. Right hand's going to come down towards the back of the mat and it's going to square off the left foot. We come onto the ball of the back foot. Hands come down and we step back into that high plank. We work through knees and chest or chaturanga. We inhale into cobra, upward facing dog. Exhaling to fold. We tuck the toes, we lift the hips up and we're in towards our downward facing dog. Amazing. So again, we're gazing towards the knees. We've got openness in towards the shoulders. Maybe taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. So really finding that space to the hands. Making sure we feel that we've got the alignment. We're not pushing through in towards the plank. The hips and the weight are coming towards the feet. Taking one more lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're going to inhale the right foot up towards the sky, pointing the toe. On the exhale, we step between the hands. We find that low lunge towards the back of the mat. So again, the hands come high towards the sky. We reach up. We hold here. Again, we're feeling that stretch down that left hip flexor. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. One more lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we're going to slowly come in towards our side squat, towards the back of the mat. So we bend in towards that right leg. Again, doesn't matter if the ankle's lifted. You'll find throughout the practice you can get deeper into the pose as we repeat the poses. If you want to, hands come down towards the ground or into the knee, just to open in towards the middle of thigh. Taking one more lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're slowly going to ground down through that right foot. We're going to lift ourselves up into our goddess pose. So taking the toes out towards the corners of the mat. We bend down in towards the hips. Maybe you want to give yourself a little bit of a sway from side to side just to feel that release. It's strong in towards the thighs and in towards the glutes. Taking one more lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we slowly take the right hand down to meet the left foot. We're onto the ball of the back foot, so the hands come down, they square off the foot, and we step back into that high plank. We work through knees and chest or chaturanga. We inhale into cobra, upward facing dog. Exhaling, we tuck the toes, we lift the hips up, we're into that downward facing dog. Amazing, so we have that length through the back of the body, in towards the back of the legs. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. One more lovely big inhale. And exhale. So we're going to come in towards the other side. So we're going to inhale the right foot up towards the sky, pointing the toe. On the exhale, we step in between the hands. The right knee comes down towards the ground and we lift the hands high towards the sky. So opening in towards the hip flexor on the right hand side. This time we're gazing up. We're using that breath, taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. One more lovely big inhale. And exhale. Slowly we're going to come in towards our side squat, towards the front of the mat. So we bend in towards that left leg. Toes come high towards the sky, and again hands can come down. You might find that you're more open in towards the left or the right. And again, that's totally fine. That's where we are with our yoga practice. We learn to observe, taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale and exhale. Slowly we ground down to that left foot. We lift ourselves up. Toes are pointing towards the sides of the mat and we come down in towards that goddess pose. So we're dropping down in towards the hips. We're putting the weight in towards the outsides of the feet. Hands can come to prayer or towards the knees, whatever's available to you. We give ourselves a little bit of a sway from side to side. We ground down through the feet. We lift ourselves up. Left hand comes down to meet the right foot. We come onto the ball of the back foot. Hands come down towards the ground. We step back into that high plank. Working through knees and chest or chaturanga. We inhale into cobra, upward facing dog. Exhaling, we tuck the toes, we lift the hips up, we're into that downward facing dog. Amazing, so we have that openness in towards the body, into the spine. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're going to inhale the left foot up towards the sky, pointing the toe. On the exhale, we step between the hands. We come into that low lunge. The right knee comes down. We lift the hands up towards the sky, so we're into that low lunge. We feel the stretch. Again, if you want to, pushing the hips forward towards the front of the mat. Palms can come into prayer if you want to, or hands facing. Wherever you are, we want to have the triceps aiming to be near the ears, taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. One last lovely big inhale here. Exhaling, hands come down towards the ground. We're in towards the side squat at the back of the mat. So we're bending in towards that left leg. Again, whatever's available to you in your anatomy, toes come up towards the sky, toes can come down. Hands towards the ground or into prayer and pushing in towards that knee to give you a bit more openness. Wherever you are, we're looking for a stretch in towards the inside of the thigh on the right. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. Taking one last lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we ground down through that left foot. We lift ourselves up and we come in towards that goddess pose. So again, feet are bigger than hip width apart. The toes are pointing out towards the sides of the mat. We lower in towards the hips, hands into prayer or towards the legs. Taking one last lovely big inhale here. Lovely deep exhale. We ground down through the feet. Left hand comes down towards the front of the mat. We're on the ball of the back foot, right hand squares off. We step into high plank, working through knees and chest all the way down to the ground. We release the toes, we roll the shoulders back. Exhaling, we tuck the toes, we lift the hips, and we're into that downward facing dog. Amazing. We've got that space in towards the back of the body, the length in towards the legs. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale and exhale. We're going to inhale onto our tiptoes. We're going to bend into the knees, looking towards the hands. We're going to step towards the front of the mat. We're going to inhale up halfway, exhaling to fold. We're going to ground down through the feet, arms reach out to the sides of the room, hands come high. Exhaling, hands down through the center line. Perfect. We've got that openness in towards the hips and into the shoulders now. So taking a lovely big inhale. Open the mouth and letting it out. Taking one more lovely big inhale. Open the mouth, sighing it out. Amazing. We're going to place the weight in towards our right foot. We're going to take a big step out with our left. And we're going to find our warrior two. So we're bending in towards that leg. We're gazing towards that right middle finger. And we're just playing with the hips today. So we're just finding that openness in towards them. Rather than sticking the bum out towards the back and getting a big arch into the lumbar spine, just see if tucking the tailbone under does anything towards the alignment into the hips. So we're gazing towards that right middle finger. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale. And exhale. We're going to inhale, lengthening through the front leg. We're going to clasp behind that back. We're going to take a lovely big inhale into the chest. And on the exhale, we bend in towards that front leg and we find our humble warrior. We're aiming to take the shoulder in towards the knee and slowly trying to sway the hips so the hips come towards the front of the body. So we start to find an engagement in towards the glutes and in towards the quad on the right hand side. We're gazing towards the back foot and we're releasing through the head, through the plumb line. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale and exhale. Slowly we're going to release the hands down towards the ground. We're going to walk the hands so they come towards the front of the mat. We're going to have the feet so they're parallel. We're going to tuck the toes under, hands come towards the hips, and we lift ourselves all the way up into standing. So we're going to have ourselves in towards that Prasarita, elbows come towards the back of the body. We find that alignment. We want to make sure that we're long in towards the torso as we inhale. As we exhale, we find those hip creases and we come in towards that forward fold. Hands come down towards the ground or to a block, whatever's available to you. We're going to inhale up on the fingertips and exhaling to release if we can. So any small movement, just making that connection with the breath. We're going to inhale onto our fingertips, exhaling to fold. Taking a lovely big inhale onto our fingertips. As we exhale, we feel that stretch towards the back of the glutes, in towards the inside of the thighs. Amazing. One more lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we're just going to fold here and we're going to hold for a breath. So taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. One more lovely big inhale here. Exhaling, we're going to bend into the knees, hands towards the hips. We tuck the chin in and we lift ourselves all the way up into standing. We're going to take the right toes towards the front of the mat. Hands come parallel towards the ground and we're going to slowly find our triangle pose. So we reach towards the front of the room. Back foot's at that 45-degree angle or parallel. We feel the stretch towards the outside of that leg. So we want to reach We feel the stretch in towards the right and we seesaw the arms. Again, option if you want to block or towards the shin, but we're looking towards the left hand. We want to have a feeling as if we're pushing against something that's hard, and we find a twist in towards the body so we get a little bit of a stretch around the top of the hip, top of the pelvis on the left. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale and exhale. One last inhale here. Exhaling, we take the gaze down towards the right big toe. We lift ourselves up. We're going to bend in towards that front leg. We're going to cartwheel the hands down towards the ground. Option to step back in towards your downward dog. Otherwise, you're coming down for knees, chest and chin. We release the toes. We roll the shoulders in towards our cobra. Exhaling, we tuck the toes. We lift the hips up. We're into that downward facing dog. So again, just finding that space. Maybe we notice the difference between the left and the right side of the body. Just coming to whatever it feels like in your body and just being aware of that space. Noticing what the joints feel like, what the muscles feel like, and being kind to yourself and observing and moving only as deeply as you want to through your body. Coming in towards the other side, we're going to inhale the left foot up towards the sky, pointing the toe. On the exhale, we're going to step it between the hands and we find that warrior two. So remembering that we're bending in towards that front leg. Hands come parallel towards the ground and we've got that openness into the hips. We want to make sure that the ankle is directly above or behind. We don't want to be coming too far forward. We find the openness into the hips. So again, maybe just swaying in towards those hips and feeling that openness in towards the thighs. We gaze towards that left middle finger, making sure the shoulders are away from the ears, taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking another lovely big inhale and exhale. One last inhale here. Exhaling, we slowly ground down through that left foot. We take the hands behind us. We inhale, we open in towards the chest, we find length, we roll the shoulders back. Exhaling, we bend in towards that left leg and we slowly surrender in towards that humble warrior. So we're taking our shoulder towards the inside of that leg if we can. Hands come high. What we find is we slowly come round towards this side. We want to sway the hips so they come towards the front of the body and we're engaging in towards that left glute. We're gazing towards the hand behind us, the foot behind us, and hands come high towards the sky. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking another lovely big inhale and exhale. One last inhale here. Exhaling, we slowly release the hands down. We're going to walk the hands, so we're going to come in towards that wide leg forward fold. So making sure that with the hands out wide, we feel our feet are in line. So we're going to take the hands down towards the ground, bending into the knees, and we slowly lift ourselves all the way up into standing. So just finding that alignment. If you feel that your feet are not underneath the hand when you have the hands out, just finding a little bit further wide. You feel that stretching towards the hips. Again, take the block down towards the ground in front if you need to. Hands come towards the back of the body. We take a lovely big inhale to find length. Exhaling as we slowly fold in towards those hip creases and we come down towards the ground. So it doesn't matter where we come to, we just feel that space. We're going to take the hands towards the outside of the legs. It doesn't matter where they come to. They come to the ankles, they come towards the thighs. Wherever you are, we're going to use that space. We're going to take the elbows up towards the sky and we're going to find a deeper forward fold. But again, it doesn't matter how far you come to. We're just going to play with the balance slightly, so slowly taking the weight towards the front and then gently taking the weight towards the back. And what that does is it just starts to engage the muscles in towards the legs a little bit differently. And we can find the balance. And what we want is to have the hips a little bit more forward into the toes. So we find that direct length above the feet. Taking a lovely big inhale here. Lovely deep exhale. Taking one last inhale here. And exhale. Slowly we're going to release the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to bend into the knees, hands come towards the hips, and we slowly lift ourselves all the way up into standing. We're going to take the left toes towards the front of the mat. Hands come parallel towards the ground. We gaze towards that left middle finger. So again, we're going to seesaw the hips towards the back of the mat. We find the stretching towards the inside that left thigh. And if you need to, just taking the heel out and keeping the toes where they are so you get that angle. Hands reach towards the front of the room. Left hand comes down, right hand comes high. And we find that space. Again, if you want to, as if you're pushing across a beam in the sky, we slowly bring the shoulder towards the back of the body. We find the twist and we get a stretch around the top of the pelvis on the right hand side. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking another lovely big inhale and exhale. One last inhale here. Exhaling, we take the gaze down towards our left big toe. We lift ourselves up. We're going to bend in towards that front leg. We cartwheel the hands down towards the ground and we step back into that high plank. We lower through knees and chest or chaturanga. And we inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. This time we're just going to push ourselves back and we're going to find our child's pose. The knees come wide, forehead comes down towards the ground, and we feel the stretch in towards the triceps. Taking a lovely big inhale, lovely deep exhale. And maybe if you want to, just slowly giving yourself a little bit of a sway from side to side, so releasing through the forehead across the mat. And as you do so, you feel that openness in towards the hips just a little bit further. Amazing. Taking a lovely big inhale, coming into stillness. Lovely deep exhale. We're going to slowly inhale in towards our tabletop. Taking the knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. We tuck the toes, we push to the heels, we find our downward dog. Amazing. So we're just working through the feet down towards the ground, working through the heels. We're going to inhale the right leg up towards the sky, pointing the toe. On the exhale, we're going to step it between the hands. We're going to find our half standing splits. So hands come underneath the shoulders. We come onto our fingertips if we can. What we want to do is we want to kind of find a lengthen towards the spine. So we push the sitting bones out towards the back of the room. We lengthen through the body. We push through the heels so we find that activation in towards our space. We're going to play with our balance a little bit here. So we're going to push through the heel for 2 more breaths. So really ground down. We want both legs active. If we can, a sensation of pulling the kneecaps up towards the body. Slowly, we're going to bend in towards our left leg. We're going to lift the hands up off the ground. We're going to slowly bring the hands into prayer as we find our balance. Doesn't matter how you get here. Doesn't matter if we're just playing. If you tumble, that's totally fine. We learn, or toddlers learn, from finding a little bit of wobble in the body and falling over, and that's where we get our balance. So we're still grounding through the right foot. We're going to come into our tree pose. So we're going to take the leg out towards the side. So we're opening in towards our hips. We take the hands into prayer if we can, or towards the hips. And then gently we release ourselves in towards our tree pose. So whichever variation that is, Toes down towards the ground, foot towards the calf, or if it's coming towards the inner thigh. Wherever that is for you, if it's the inner thigh, we want to be pushing in with the heel and engaging our standing leg. By that point, we become really stiff and towards the body. We lock in towards that space and we're activating and pushing the hips forward. So taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. One more lovely big inhale here. Exhaling, we're going to slowly release the leg out towards the front of the room. We hold, we point the toe, we engage the glutes, taking a lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we release. Just giving ourselves a little bit of a sway through the legs, through the hips. Perfect. So we're coming in towards that Tadasana at the front of the mat. Shoulders rolling down the back, taking a lovely big inhale. Lovely deep exhale. We're going to inhale, the arms come wide, reaching high. Exhaling, hands down through the center line, we're in towards that forward fold. We inhale up halfway. Exhaling, hands come down as we step back into that high plank. Option to skip and coming into a downward dog. Otherwise, it's knees, chest and chin or chaturanga. Inhaling into cobra, upward facing dog. Exhaling, tucking toes, lifting hips into downward facing dog. Amazing. So remembering we're playing with the balance. Doesn't matter where you come to. We're not judging ourselves. Taking a lovely big inhale. Deep exhale. We're going to inhale the left foot up towards the sky, pointing the toe. On the exhale, we step between the hands. We find that half standing splits. So hands come down towards the ground. We're onto our fingertips and we're pushing through the heel towards the back of the room. We want our legs to be activated and working through. We want to find that length in towards the body as well. So we're pushing through the crown of the head. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. One more lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we slowly bend in towards our right leg. We bring the hands into prayer in front of the heart and we find that balance. So our thigh is parallel towards the ground and our right toes are active. We take a lovely big inhale and exhale. We slowly come in towards that tree pose. So we take the right foot out towards the side. We open in towards the hip. We're coming into our tree, whichever inversion you came into on the other side. So whether that's toes to the ground, towards the inner calf or towards the inner thigh. We want to tuck that tailbone under, so we're really engaging in towards the body. We're finding that openness and we're opening in towards those hips. Taking a lovely big inhale. Deep exhale. Taking another lovely big inhale. Deep exhale. One last inhale here. Exhaling, we slowly release the leg out towards the front of the room. We point the toe, we engage the glutes, we hold for a breath. And exhaling, we release, giving our legs a little bit of a shake. Amazing. So just giving ourselves just a little bit of a release in towards the body. We're coming back in towards that Tadasana at the front of the mat. Feet are hip width apart or toes touching. We're going to inhale the hands up towards the sky, gazing up. Exhaling, hands down through the center line. We're in towards that forward fold. We inhale up halfway. Exhaling, hands come down as we step back into that high plank. Working through knees and chest or chaturanga. We inhale into cobra, upward facing dog. Exhaling, tucking toes, lifting hips into downward facing dog. Amazing. Coming in towards the lower part, the seated part of the sequence. We're going to inhale the right foot up towards the sky. Exhaling, we step the foot forward. We're going to find that low lunge. So left knee comes down towards the ground. We're going to inhale the hands high. So we're opening into the chest and we push the hips towards the front of the room. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. Taking one more lovely big inhale. Exhaling, hands come down towards the ground. We're going to find a half splits. If you need to, taking your block with you. And slowly we tuck the toes at the back to find the openness, to find the steadiness, sorry. Right toes come up towards the sky, so we find that space. And if we can, we try and pull that leg back in towards us, so back into the socket. We find that space in towards the body. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. Inhaling to lift up. Exhaling to fold. Taking another lovely big inhale. Exhaling to fold. If you can, we're going to inhale, taking the left hand towards the front of the body. Exhaling, we're going to take the hand towards the outside of the leg, the outside of the foot. And we're just going to find a twist in towards the body if we can. So we inhale up. Exhaling, as we twist, we find a stretch down the outside of the IT band, down the outside of the leg. We inhale up, square the shoulders. Exhaling, we pull ourselves towards the side. We're going to do one more. Inhaling up. Exhaling, pulling ourselves towards the side, feeling that stretch. Amazing. We slowly bring ourselves up. We're going to come in towards the other side. So hands come down and we step back into that downward facing dog. Taking a moment to feel the body, what the left and the right sides feel. And then slowly we lift the left leg up towards the sky, pointing the toe. Exhaling, we step between the hands, we take the right leg down and we find that low lunge. So again, we tuck the tailbone under, hands come high on the inhale, so we're working with that breath. We push the hips towards the front of the room. We find that openness in towards the front of the body, in towards the hip flexors, into the heart. Again, if you want to, hands can come into prayer if you want to go deeper. Keeping the elbows or the triceps next to the ears, taking a lovely big inhale. Exhaling, we slowly bring the hands down, we tuck the toes, and we come in towards those half splits. So we're working in towards the back of the hips, into the hip flexor into the hamstring. We slowly pull that leg back into the socket. We inhale onto our fingertips, exhaling to fold. We're going to inhale onto our fingertips, exhaling to fold. Two more, so we inhale to lift up, exhaling to fold. Last inhale. Doesn't matter if you can't fold very far, it's just working with that little bit of breath. Perfect. We're going to slowly lift ourselves up. We're going to take our right hand towards the outside of the leg or the foot. So we square the shoulders to the front. On the exhale, we pull ourselves sideways. So we're looking for a stretch down the outside of the left leg. We inhale to lift. Exhaling, we slowly pull ourselves towards the side. Last inhale, we lift up. Exhaling, we pull ourselves towards the side. Amazing. We're going to slowly lift ourselves up. Walking the hands towards the front of the mat, we step back into that high plank. We lower the knees, bottom towards the heels, and we come in towards the full seated. So toes towards the front of the room. We're going to inhale the hands up towards the sky. As we exhale, we reach towards the front of the room. Hands come towards the outsides of the feet, towards the shins or the ankles. Again, we're only playing with wherever our body will let us get to. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. Taking the gaze towards the big toes, or we close down the eyes and just starting to feel those sensations in the body. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Inhaling, we slowly walk the hands back in center. We're going to bend in towards that left leg. Left foot comes towards the inside of the right thigh. Hands come high towards the sky. As we exhale, we fold and we reach towards the front of the room. We inhale to find length. Then exhaling, we fold. Again, hands can come towards the foot. If they come further, we can come into a bind. Otherwise, hands towards the knee, the shin, or the foot. We're looking for that stretch around the top of the pelvis on the left-hand side and into the hamstring on the right. We're also looking to square the shoulders towards that foot. So if we find that we're kind of out here trying to pull ourselves round, if we square the shoulders, we find that alignment in the hips. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. One last inhale here and exhale. Slowly, we're going to walk the hands back in towards us. We're going to bring that left leg, we're going to place the left foot over the right leg. So just bringing ourselves towards the front of the mat. Left hand behind us, right hand reaches high towards the sky. As we exhale, right elbow to the outside of our left knee. We find the twist, we inhale to find length. Exhaling, we gaze towards the back of the room. So we feel that twist, we feel that length into the spine. Lovely big inhale and exhale. One more lovely big inhale and exhale. Slowly, we're going to inhale back in center. We release the legs, we give them a bit of a shake. We're going to come in towards the other side. So we're going to place the right leg towards the inside of our left inner thigh. Hands come high towards the sky. On the exhale, we twist and we fold forward. So again, doesn't matter where you come to, hands towards the feet. If they come past, take the bind. If they come to the shin, the ankle, that's totally fine. We're looking to square the shoulders towards the front and find that fold. So we're looking for the stretch around the outside of the thigh or the muffin top on the right hand side and into the hamstring on the left. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. Taking a lovely big inhale and exhale. One last lovely big inhale here and exhale. Slowly we start to walk the hands back in towards us. We're going to bring that right leg and we're going to slowly take that right foot over the left. Right hand comes behind us, left hand reaches high towards the sky. Exhaling, elbow to the outside of the left leg. We're going to inhale to find length. Exhaling, we twist and we gaze towards the back of the room. So we inhale to find length. Exhaling to twist. One last lovely big inhale. Exhaling to twist. Let's do one more here. So taking that inhale, finding that length, exhaling to twist. Amazing. Slowly we come round towards the front of the room. We release the legs, we give them a shake. We're going to slowly make our way down onto our back. So coming in towards our happy baby, we're going to find our backs, bending into the knees. Taking the knees out wide, we take the hands towards the inside of the legs, towards the outsides of the feet, or towards the big toe. So wherever you are, we want to have the sensation of the pelvis down towards the ground and the shoulders. If we find that we're kind of rolling to get ourselves up here, we want to lengthen the tailbone towards the front of the mat. We're putting the elbows down in towards the hips, so we're opening in there. Taking a lovely big inhale. And exhale. One last inhale here. And exhale, slowly release the legs. We're going to come in towards our inversion. So option to take the legs up towards the sky. If you have a yoga block or a prop that you've been using, feel free to place that underneath the pelvis and just give yourself a little bit of height and taking the toes up high. If you're in this pose, palms come out towards the sides of the room so the shoulder blades can lay flat towards the ground. If you want to come into your shoulder stand, if it's in your practice, feel free to. The hands come down next to the shoulders, making sure you've got space between the shoulders and the ears. Toes come up and over towards the back of the body. Hands, we wiggle the elbows together. We take the hands towards the back of the body, toes come up towards the sky. So we find that length. Doesn't matter where you come to, we're holding here for a couple of breaths. Doesn't matter which inversion you come to, legs up the wall or even just like placing them against a sofa are just as good as each other, because all you're doing is just letting all the goodness drain back down in towards the internal organs. We spend our day standing up and all the gravity working in towards putting our blood down towards our toes. So if we can elevate them and have that come back towards us. When you're in your shoulder stand, we gaze towards the toes, the knees, or the navel. Perfect. If you're in your shoulder stand, slowly release the palms down towards the ground. And to do that, you might need to take the toes over the head again. Palms come down towards the ground and slowly you take the toes out towards the front of the room. If the toes are up towards the sky or you're on a block, feel free to do the same. And we're just going to bend in towards the knees. Feet come wide off the mat and we're just going to gently windscreen wipe the legs from side to side. So we just find a little bit of release in towards the body. And then gently releasing the legs out towards the front of the room. We're going to find our Savasana. So palms come out towards the sides. Feet are wide, we close down the eyes. Any issues into your lumbar spine after working deep into the hips? Knees can come up towards the sky, and if you gently knock them in together, there's no activation into the hips to keep them where they are. So gently just closing down the eyes. Just taking a couple of moments just to feel the body. We can take a lovely deep inhale. We're going to fill the body with breath. As we exhale, we just gently part the lips and sigh it out. You have the option to stay into your Savasana as you're at home. Otherwise, starting to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Taking the arms over the head for a full body stretch. Bring the knees into the chest for a lovely big hug. And slowly taking yourself to the left or the right hand side, whichever's available to you. Holding here and fetus just for a moment. Just letting that relax of the body just melt down into the side. We ground down through that right hand and we slowly lift ourselves in towards a comfortable seated position at the top of the mat. We keep the eyes closed. Just taking a moment to notice how the body feels, how the mind feels, and how the breath feels. Slowly we bring the hands into prayer in front of the heart. May the light in me honour the light in you. Namaste. I hope you really enjoyed that practice. It was fun to put a little bit of Mandala in there and a little bit of Vinyasa and just kind of sprinkle it a little bit differently this week. So really hope you enjoyed that. Any comments or questions, drop it into the comment box. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful week. See you soon.